What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Inside 11, and right now we're dropping some quick knowledge, a quick nugget for y'all on overriding traumatic negative memories, right? So our brain always tries to confirm to us who we are via recalling information that has to do with who we are, basically. But who you are, the identity of I am, who you are currently being, usually a lot of the times is solidified from a negative past. Let's say if you were like me, for example, you grew up, you had negative experiences, especially if the first sets of negative experience the first experience that you breathe in, if they're negative, then it's going to kind of set you up to have a negative life, because that's what your brain has been familiarized with, and your brain wants to condition itself to stay in a particular lane that it's familiar with. So if you try to think of positive thoughts and feelings, your brain is going to view that as abnormal behavior. It's going to try to recorrect that data, and it's going to try to put you back in that same energy, that same chemical formulation based on the past, to recreate those circumstances and situations, right? Because a lot of the circumstances, a lot of the things that you're manifesting externally is a result of the thoughts and feelings that you are thinking and feeling, manifesting internally first. Now, our internals usually have been breathed into us by people around us. So we might have grown up seeing certain things, feeling certain things. Like those first sets of experiences are very important, because if those sets of experiences are negative, then we are most likely to go create a negative future. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna unknowingly recreate the past that we experienced that was negative and traumatic into the present, and we're going to bring that shit into the future with us, meaning that we may develop certain behaviors, coping mechanisms, to protect ourselves so that event doesn't take place again. But that's what it means to be a strong person, is to have an open heart, but also strong boundaries and shit like that. So just because your heart got broken once or twice, it doesn't mean that, okay, now you gotta shut down your heart, you gotta close your heart and not feel anything. Because see, I already did that. I already came from that space, and that's not a healthy, benevolent space for you and I to be in. Now, when it comes to overriding the traumatic memories and things like that, look, your brain is going to recall that information, right? It's going to try to put you back in that event. Even if you're in the present, in a complete different space and place, your brain is going to try to recall that information, those memories, that information, that data, and put you right back in that event, because that's what it has been. That's what your mind has been baptized with, okay, conditioned and familiarized with, right? So what we want to do is we want to be able to remove the vibrations, which is the energy, from that data, from that memory. And we want to be able to analyze that memory logically without feeling the emotions associated with that memory. Meaning that someone precious to us may have passed away. Whatever it is, the cat, the dog, whatever, the cat and dog bit you when you was a kid. So now you don't trust no cats and no dogs, blah, 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 blah. You want to be able to just recall the information without necessarily the emotional vibration, because the emotional vibration is exactly what's going to make our internal waters unsettled, and it's going to create that negative experience in the present. And we don't need to be in that space necessarily. We can move on to a new space if we allow ourselves to move on to a new space. But see, the mind is very powerful. This is why I've been saying again and again, the mind will create some type of internal event, some type of external event, for you to believe in that old self-image, that old I am in your past. That I am might be, you might have experienced being helpless when you was a child. So now you grow up as an adult thinking and feeling like you're helpless. You might have experienced, a lot of hate from your environment. So you might grow up thinking still and feeling like people around you in your class hate you. But the truth is, nobody hates you. And these are just old residues of energies that you maybe you just didn't have the information or the access, or someone around you to let you know, hey man, look, you need to clean up those memories, because it's clogging up your experiences, and it's clogging up God's ability to create new events in your life, because you're holding on so dearly to something old that you should have already let go of, so you can move on to something new in the future, right? Because when we hold on to things so dearly, we don't create space for new things to come. So we have to learn to let go of these old things so we can start to go into a new experience in our lives and shit like that, right? So yeah, work on letting go of those emotional memories. Don't get emotional about your past, because it's not serving you in the present, right? You want to be able to be a balanced person, right? You don't want to be too emotional. If you're too emotional, you're going to be delusional. You're going to be like not making sense to people. You might be walking around like crying or something like that, because like you just so in the past, but you're in the present moment. And until you explain to people that, hey, you had a fucked up childhood or something happened to you when you was a kid, then people will understand, oh, okay, this is a trauma that he's recalling to the present, right? But that's the people in society that you see kind of like losing the mental battle. So they lose the third dimensional battle as well. They might like lose their job or something because they're too focused on they're focused on the wrong things from the past. They might even like abandon their family or some shit. You could do a lot of things, to be honest, when you're thinking in the past and you're not your chakras are not clear and balanced. Your chakras your mind's clogged up, unable to process new information and new events because it's too busy processing some old traumatic shit that's already been gone and done. So yeah, make sure you let go of those negative emotions, those negative memories, because it is not serving you in any kind of way in the present. Look at it logically, but never attach yourself to it emotionally. So what do I mean by that, right? When you go into the past, you're gonna feel that emotion that has to do with that event rise up inside of you. Let's say your dad slapped you in the face when you was a kid, and that made you really angry. You can be like, man, yeah, I'm really angry, I'm really pissed off. My dad did this to me, blah 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 blah. Your mind's gonna create this like psychological babble about that event, like this internal soccer commentator about the event. Oh, look, little Johnny got stopped when he was a kid. Oh, he was a victim, blah 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 blah. It's gonna be like a little commentator in your head telling you all these different things. But you want to detach from the emotions, because when you detach from the emotions, you can analyze the event logically, and it does not matter what happened. Like, I know a lot of people are attached to their past and their negative emotions and how their experiences are more special than other people. The truth is, your experiences are not special at all. There's people all around you having the same experiences that you're having, right? Like me, for example, me sharing my experiences on YouTube connected me to other people who have similar life experiences like me, right? So we're not the only ones on the planet. You can think your suffering is special, but it's really not. The same way a deer may be extremely hungry and unable to find food, there's another deer out there going through that same event. But see, it's about mentality. It's about who can go through that event and not get affected, because one deer can just roll up and die. Another deer can just keep going and find another food a mile, 2 miles down the road, find a berry tree. So it's about mentality. It's not about physicality. Real shit.